Mm-hmm.
which
Like
is quite frustrating.
I'm lost looking at this.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Like,
Hooray!
you imagine how I felt playing it. I took me a good half an hour to get this. Like, and I knew exactly what I was doing. I just couldn't replicate it. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have our staff now. That's the main thing. We can now grab it and save the day. We did.
What are you doing?
Oh,
Melanie,
oh my God.
Brent,
Oh my
let me
God.
help you.
Oh my
let her go.
God.
She hasn't got anything to do with this. I came here on my own.
Oh my
You have
God.
something that belongs to me. Give it to me. Now.
Brent, do what he says.
Wasn't that
He's
incredible?
serious.
You heard what she
I
said.
was.
He's absolutely right.
Brent, please.
Is that your
No.
playthrough or does
When
this
he has
happen
the
in
staff, he'll
everyone's
kill us
playthrough?
both.
I
Listen,
feel like
Sir
that one was unique to
I'll
me. I
give you
don't
the
think I've seen
staff
anyone else have
on
that
one
glitch.
condition.
Oh my
You
God.
must swear that
Is...
Yeah.
nothing will happen to either Melanie or me afterwards.
Because I think I
I
played
don't
through that
even know
cutscene
what
a second
that
time and it
That
didn't
is your
is.
happen.
condition?
Swear on
Right.
your honor.
It doesn't mean anything to me whether you sad creatures live or die.
The
If you
game is
really want to
broken.
hear it,
Yeah.
I swear it.
Literally seen a
On
female
your
character being
honor.
dragged around by the foot.
On
Yeah, that would
my
probably break
honor.
you, I think.
Okay, now let Melanie go.
Give me the staff.
I'll put her down here as soon as you let her go. Come here, Melanie.
All right.
Come here. Here.
Now our fates will be sealed. The ritual may begin. But
Oh,
first,
shit.
I will
So Sally.
take care of you two.
Yeah. Right then. So it seems like we kind of fucked up there by ensuring Melanie's safety and Surstan gives the staff anyway. However, this is the thing, right? Because we made him swear on his life that Melanie would not be harmed. I'm going to give you one guess on how we solved the final puzzle.
You're falling again. What?
We're going back to the modern day.
Right, okay.
Surstan has sent us back to our own time, so we can complete the ritual.
Brent?
Yes?
Hey, we're still alive.
It would appear so. Where are we?
The bridges are ruined. We must be back in our own time.
It would be hilarious if they ended up like
My
going
God,
back
the
into
ritual.
like going
We
20
must
years
get
into
to
the future,
Stonehenge
where
immediately.
like, you know,
Sinclair is going to
everything's already
complete
been
the
done.
ritual. Come on, Melanie, we've got to try to stop it.
Which again, bear in mind, Surstan had the power to. He could have just like bumped
Yeah.
us into the 20 years into the future, where it's all already been done. We didn't. He warped us back to the day of the ritual. Okay then. So Surstan was made to swear in his life that Melanie would not be harmed. How do we solve this final puzzle?
Kill Melanie?
What was that, Burpa?
Kill Melanie? Harm
It
Melanie?
is the correct answer.
Sinclair!
And bear in mind, we've established that Sinclair is Surstan's direct descendant.
Mr. Halligan,
Yeah.
have you come to witness our finest hour? Very well, my friend. You are most welcome to come and
He looks so much
watch.
younger under the robes.
Damn it!
The time has come. Let us begin.
He's got the golden sickle. Alright then. So, here's the final puzzle. And this is, after building up these two being drawn together as a couple, the only way to defeat the cultists. And this means like kind of sticking around to see if there's a death scene. I don't think there is. I don't think there's a bad ending here. You just are stuck here until you figure out what to do.
It doesn't fit here.
Like, none of the druidic stuff works. Nothing.
Right. Like, is he meant to be stabbing something?
He's doing his ritual. That's what the whole point is. But like, they're not moving or saying anything. So this is like
Yeah.
literally us intervening in like a moment, in a split second type of thing.
So are we to set fire to Melanie?
No, nope. We have implements.
You could hurt yourself with those.
So yeah.
Brent! Oh.
The fact that like, he did it with absolutely no warning.
Yeah.
The vow is broken!
Oh, the panning camera movement as he poses with his arms up in the air. He's just justified.
It's meant to be an instantaneous thing, is that why?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what the whole endgame here is, but he's just stabbed a woman to prove a point. But again, going with the whole fact that it's non-linear time when it comes to druids. Sinclair is Sir Stan, therefore. And then once Sir Stan dies, the inheritors disappear because they never existed.
Gotta check on Melanie at all? No?
Melanie.
Have they gone now?
Yes.
Like,
Yes, they've
it's
gone.
harm,
Everything
like,
will be okay.
punch
Just
in the
lie still.
shoulder. Would have done.
Brent, am I going to die?
Nonsense. You're going to be just fine. Just lie completely still. I'll go and get help.
Don't leave me. Brent, it's cold here. I'm so cold.
Melanie!
It's such a dumb ending of the game. But hold on. Look, don't you remember what happened to Maglor? Mistletoe her serious injuries, don't you know? That you know how Mistletoe bioluminesces when someone's injured and heals them of their wounds, their serious stab wounds, and the blade.
Melanie.
Brent, what did you do?
I just practiced a bit of magic, that's all.
Jesus.
You do not get to wisecrack after stabbing your love interest.
Oh no! Stop that.
Yeah. No, they went there.
No. No.
Yeah. How dare you pan out to that?
Shocking. Load of shite.
Oh my god. Like,
Oh.
that does not deserve a happy ending at all.
No. Like, I would have been like, oh, she's at peace now. She's finally dead.
Oh, I hate that. Look at the credits there. Low res character design and animation. That was your fault, Sasha. You made it low res. I mean, at least they made their own music. That's something, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. Again, I know it must be a translation thing because I know it's a German crowd, but like having a couple of people on the low res team seems like such an insult. Like it's just like that's just so cruel to them. It's like, yeah,
look at the game testing lineup. Like,
yeah, they could have done with a couple of more.
What was their feedback to let it come to print?
Oh, I have no idea. But also warm meals and walks of moonlight. Oh, that's tremendous. That's just great.
They are several hours of my life I'll never get back.
Yep. Yep, that's exactly what my thought too was. But yeah.
The next game I'll have to do is gonna be a good one, right? That's how this works.
That is, yeah, that's kind of how we've been working it. But yeah, that was that's I think one of the worst point and click games I've ever played. Like pound for pound, like it's not necessarily like the worst looking. It does look incredibly ugly, but just as a game, it's just really, really badly made. Like,
Yeah, what
um,
I'll say is I really like the premise. Like I said, I described this to Nordy and was like, yeah, this is the premise of the game. That sounds good. It leads you like point and click adventure, detective mystery, bringing stuff from the past into the future. All of
mm,
that sounds right up my alley. And the fact that they fronted it so well by having
yeah.
a puzzle where a woman makes soup.
A soup for some
Um,
like misogynistic men.
where the abacus makes no sense, and you've got to check in to see how accurate the abacus is by using a crystal ball. No.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it just it fails in most categories. As you said, like I played games with worse premises. Like I'm thinking of the Runaway series that we played that like had like the dumbest plot I
Yeah.
could think of. Like a really fucking
Yeah.
stupid, bad plot. With bad characters and bad puzzles that made no sense. This is in a way worse because the premise, it could have been a good game. It could have been a really good plot, but they just didn't write any plot, you know? Um the they just failed in all categories, which I think I'm trying to figure out what's actually worse a worse crime, like failing to deliver on a bad premise like Runaway, or failing to deliver on a good premise. You know, I
Mm.
I feel like it's a latter because again, when it shows promise and you don't follow through, I think that's worse. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Um, Having a good premise and ruining it is worse than having a shit game and trying to make the best of it.
yeah, I think it's fair. And because at least if you're playing a bad point and click game, you kind of know going in it's not going to get any better. You know, and like usually from like the first, like I always tell for this genre, it is always the first puzzle that always gets you. You know, that's what it makes sense. If that first puzzle works for you, then the game is going to be good.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes games can lose their fizz after a while. And again, my favorite genre, like or my favorite series, Broken Sword, is guilty of that sometimes, but
Mm.
it usually still is coherent and consistent enough to be a good game to be an enjoyable
That
experience.
that
You know,
even if you need a little bit of a help with a quiz or with one of the puzzles,
mm,
doesn't mean it's a bad puzzle. But there's
no,
nothing intuitive about these puzzles. Nothing.
yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
Um,
And it
and
doesn't help that
I
the
know
characters are.
we said it that there's no inner monologue for the characters that they're trying to. So you're figuring it out as they do. It is
Mm,
just like random. And
yeah.
if anyone completed this game with no help from a walkthrough or a uh, play along book or whatever, like how how fucked is your brain that you could figure this stuff out? Or how long did it take you
Yeah.
to get there?
Oh, I know it's not great. Like I mean, like I said, I will fully admit I like most of the puzzles I needed help on because they were so unnecessarily obtuse. Like the reason why a
Hmm.
puzzle happens is because the obvious solution can't be done, right? So you need to
Yeah.
use a roundabout way to it, or sometimes the right answer is
You've
the
been locked
obvious.
in a room. How do you unlock the door from the inside out? You know,
Yeah.
oh, the obvious solution would be you try and get a key from somewhere. Not
Mm.
that you break a bit of your photo frame off, replace the photo, take a nail to loosen a tile. Like, no,
No. But then that
no.
now in fairness, that's a point and click like game staple. Like that's the poking the key out of a
The
hole
key
or
out the back
keyhole
of the
is
door. Yeah,
yeah.
but if you actually did this, instead of loosening a tile so that you could shimmy the stuff under, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like what was wrong about just like poking the key out of the hole and
with
then
the
just like
key.
sweeping underneath you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. Like that's actually a great like kind of like summary of the game is that it's a simple solution made overly complicated to basically pad the game out.
Yep.
You know, and
Yeah.
again, we played games like that before. It does all the time. We're kind of accepting it. You know, because again, it's a point and
Because
click
there's
game.
something to
Yeah,
pull you in. Like there's the humor of Monkey Island. There
yeah,
is the I suppose the character inner monologues of Broken Sword.
yes.
There's
But at
nothing
least like
there's
yeah,
nothing
but there's an
ridiculous.
annoying character to deal with in Broken Sword. Like there's but like it is like I'm thinking of the guy in the hotel where you meet Lady Piermont. Like he is just being completely uncooperative. So you have to basically unleash an old British woman on him. That's
Yeah.
but there's a level of comedy in that. You know, that's not annoying in a
Yeah.
sense. It's an inconvenience, but that's the whole point. That's why you have to find a solution to it. You know, but at least the solution is some way comedic, you know, and it actually works in your favor. This doesn't have that. There's not even the comedy you're getting from this game is basically at how shoddily made it is. Like again, we just saw there from the last 5 minutes of the game where Melanie walked horizontally towards us. That was not that's not part of the game.
Yeah.
And yet that was one
Well,
of our
like,
highlights.
like they have so many stairs related clips and yet they
Yeah,
can't walk downstairs.
I know. And that's yeah, just absolutely wonderful work. But yeah, so now that Mystery of the Druids is done and the bad game vault can be locked away for another time because as part of the series, I do have to ask the question if you want to click or twist. You'll be shocked to hear
No, I
there
need
is no
to.
sequel to this game, so you'll want to twist, I presume.
Yes, please. And please be a good twist.
Well, this is why I was going to ask you because I gave you the same option last time when we finished playing Grim Fandango. Whether you want a
Yeah.
sequel to something we've done already, or would you like a new point and click adventure? So I will leave it to you whether you want something that we played already and just a
Can I get
repeat of that, or
before I
something new.
twist, can I get a promise it's going to be somewhat enjoyable?
Okay, well, you have a choice. If you go for a sequel, you have a choice of either mm, what would be the fourth Monkey Island game, which is done in the style of Grim
Oh.
Fandango with the 3D graphics,
Yeah.
or you can go for Broken Sword 2, which
Oh.
replace the Templars with the Mayan Apocalypse, or you can go with Ace Attorney 2, which we haven't touched in a while either. Technically
You know
pointed to
what
the
I
game,
like.
even though it's a visual novel. So those are three sequels, or I can give you a new Lucas Arts game.
I'm gonna go with new Lucas.
Okay, all right then. So,
I I I enjoy all of the previous the ones that would be sequels. But
hmm,
LucasArts has me hooked. So give me
okay,
something good, LucasArts.
okay. Well, in that case, then we're gonna play a game next that I've been looking to play on the channel for pretty much since the start. Um, because again, I think it's a like in fairness, a lot of the LucasArts back catalog is absolutely excellent. I could have picked so many games from it. Like and then we'll get to them at some stage during this series, I can assure you, because we've got like stuff like Loom where you have to like basically play music to solve puzzles. You need you know, something like Full Throttle, which is literally just a gang simulator. You got even something whimsical like Data Tentacle, where there's an alien invasion and you're a child having to try to solve everything. But the one I'm going to give you is something I think you might really, really enjoy called The Dig. Have you ever heard of The Dig before?
I have heard of it.
Hmm. Okay. So The
Um,
Dig.
because my reference for the dig, how I can't think right now what I know about it, but
Hmm.
the recent Pokemon game where you go underground and you can dig for fossils.
Okay.
I got a bit obsessed with that mini game within the Pokemon game.
Hmm.
That it has been mentioned to me before that, oh, if you like digging so much, you'd like the dig. So
Okay.
that is my only frame of reference for this.
Well, I can tell you now, right, that the dig actually has nothing to do with archaeology, right? That is the start, okay? However, right, so obviously with LucasArts, the Lucas is kind of in the name there. It is, tied with George Lucas and all of his works and so forth. So LucasArts was always kind of the side project of Lucasfilms, where they're able to just basically have a whole lot of like really creative people making unique games and competing with someone like, say, Sierra, who had a lot of bulk in their back catalog. They just pumped out games left, right, and center. And by 1995, they were also publishing games. So a year later, for instance, Sierra did publish Crash Bandicoot, would you believe? Um, so that's where they started going into it. But LucasArts stayed as developers and publishers, right? And case in point, the Dig was one of their later entries, I want to say, before they started going into 3D work. The Dig is it's very unlike a LucasArts game, is the best way to describe it. Because normally LucasArts games are associated with being like really comedic and whimsical and colorful. Whereas the Dig is actually very cinematic. And it's very kind of almost like a movie almost. And the reason it is because the game itself, the pitch, the idea, the script was actually created by Steven Spielberg.
Oh, class.
So Steven Spielberg basically did like a series called Amazing Stories. I think it was on TV for a while, and I think only got like about like 2 seasons worth, but they're all basically little kind of mini stories, almost like kind of the same premise as like the Twilight Zone, let's say. And it got 2 seasons. I think it ran from the mid 80s basically. And they're kind of different premises, let's say. Some of them are directed by Steven Spielberg. Actually, the directors of this series is incredible. Like, it has a back catalogue of Spielberg himself. Michael D. Moore did one with this. Burt Reynolds did an episode. Clint Eastwood did a couple. So Amazing Stories has an incredible pedigree of like people who's done like their first directing job or writing job or whatever. And The Dig is essentially an idea that was intended for that series, but then ended up becoming this game instead a couple of years later.
Its own thing, like, okay.
Yeah. So The Dig is it's a sci-fi game. The premise is essentially there's a massive asteroid on a collision course to the Earth. And a 5-man team has basically been tasked with destroying the asteroid. So think of it like I guess it's kind of like Armageddon almost, a movie. Although it's also kind of like it's more of a sci-fi twist on that instead. So you're the main character, which is the commander of this 5-man team called Boston Low. And you basically have to kind of coordinate with the rest of your people on how this works. So I won't give too much away, but you basically have to basically secure to make it happen. Make sure the asteroid doesn't hit Earth, right? I'm not going to give you anything more than that because the game goes in places. What I will tell you though is that the game was written by a fellow called Orson Scott Card. If you don't know, he is the writer behind the Ender's Game series.
Oh, okay.
Which is a series of like these kind of like sci-fi fantasy novels that ran for quite a number of years actually. It's a quite a big franchise. So that's his kind of baby in a sense, and he wrote this game as well. Not only that, it's one of the first games to use an orchestral soundtrack in what is like MS-DOS. So that's a bit of an achievement in its own right. So like The Dig is kind of known as a bit of a step up in production is the best way I describe it. You're not your usual point and click game where they have these huge cinematic shots that they've kind of replicated in the Scum engine. So this is the same engine that does Monkey Island, by the way. So this has been upscaled to an almost absurd degree. And likewise, there's voice actors to go with. So for instance, Boston Low is actually voiced by Mr. Robert Patrick, who you will know more as the Terminator 1000 from Terminator 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's the main character.
Yeah.
Some other characters are voiced by the likes of Steve Bloom, who is a notorious voice actor. You will have heard of him in everything. He is one of those type of voice
Right.
actor. This is one of his first gigs. I think the female lead, Maggie Robbins, is played by Mary Weiss, who does a lot of kind of like one-shot roles in various different shows. She's still working today, as far as I can see. But she does a lot of voice actor roles as well. So again, you recognize her voice. There's actually a connection, I think, to Gabriel Knight here, I believe, because Leilani Jones is one of the voice actors, and I think she featured in Gabriel Knight back in the day. I just have to check which character she was. A long time ago, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think she featured in that game as well. And yeah, there's one or two others. So it's a decent it's a very decent voice acting crew. But Robert Patrick is the kind of the main draw, I think, is the best way to describe that.
Okay. Yeah. No.
So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to this. Right.
Yeah, you got a decent pedigree in this game. And like I said, it's a very unlike LucasArts game, especially considering that it's not a, character-based game. It's a puzzle game. It's a proper, like, alien puzzle game. So we'll hopefully try and play this in person, because I think this is something that's going to tickle that, like, lateral thinking part of your brain. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what's up next on this series. And we're going to play The Dig, which is hopefully going to be a really thoroughly enjoyable experience.
Woo!
So, yeah, until then, we're going to leave it here for today. Mr. Druids is dead and buried, never to be seen again.
Yeah, let's never talk about it again. Actually, let's talk about it again, but only when comparing terrible games to it.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. That is almost certainly going to happen. But yeah, we will use it as an example to the rest. Anyway, until then, people, we shall see you next time on Click the Thing, where we will find things to click and click the things all the time. So we'll see you next time.